Bruni, I think I see it up ahead. We've finally arrived. Come on, just a little further, Bruni.
Mr. T'Challa, Mr. T'Challa, Mr. T'Challa. Oh, I'm so glad you're back. We've been so worried about you. Where have you been, Mr. T'Challa? Stop it, Pruny. You're back. Oh, and you're all better. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yes, we finally found a veterinarian who could deal with Bruni.
Oh, I'm so glad. I wasn't sure if he was gonna be okay, and you were gone so long I thought maybe he was in serious trouble.
No, SpongeBob. We just had a hard time finding the veterinarian. It was a maze.
You mean that it was so crowded and convoluted that all the construction made it feel really hard to navigate?
No, I mean, it was literally a maze. The only vet who would see Bruni was a minotaur who lived inside of a labyrinth.
Wow.
It would have been far more spectacular if we had remembered where we parked. Bruni, do you remember where we parked? Of course I remember that you were only partially conscious when we arrived. Why do you think I was so nervous that I can't remember where we parked? Let's try it this way. And so we had to walk the whole way back.
Oh, that's so terrible, but, Mr. T'Challa, why didn't you just call for your ship on your Kimoyo beads?
Well, I was so panicked when I was worried about Bruni that I left my Kimoyo beads in the cockpit of the ship.
Oh, no. But Bruni's okay?
Yes, as it turns out, he only ate one can of black paint.
One can of black paint? But he was all black.
Yes,
And there were so many cans missing.
yes. It turns out he had spilled the rest and rolled around in them. The paint was on his outsides, not his insides.
But the one can he ate made him sick?
Yes, he did eat the whole can. Jaw, lid, and everything.
Oh, Bruni, I'm so glad you're back. And I'm glad you're back too, Mr. T'Challa. We've had so many...
SpongeBob,
Yeah?
what on earth is happening with your head?
Oh, well, it's a long story. I'll have to tell you in a minute, because first I need your help.
I'd be happy to help you, SpongeBob, but let me get Bruni his balloon. I'm tired of carrying it. Bruni! Take this balloon. You heard what the doctor said. You can't eat paint anymore. You can use the balloon as a chew toy. So, tell me, SpongeBob, what is this problem you're dealing with?
Well, so there's two different problems, and the second problem is that the guy trying to help me solve the first problem wasn't very helpful.
I see. What was wrong?
Well, for one thing, I don't think he understands that I'm a sea sponge. I think maybe he's confused and thinks I'm a seahorse because he keeps calling me a pony bubble.
Pony Bubble? No, that is not true. I did not call him a pony bubble. I called him a puny baby. And you can see I am right. Look, it is sponge material. It's hardly even solid. You should call him SpongeBob Liquid Pants, maybe.
Ah! Mr. T'Challa, sir, this is...
My name is strongest, bestest, most wonderfully handsome man in the whole universe.
We just call him Strong Man for short.
Only puny babies call me strong man. And you must be some sort of puny kitty baby because you are hanging out with this puny baby.
Mr. Strongman, sir.
I think, SpongeBob, would like you to be a little nicer to him. What? I'm being very nice to him. I just happen to call him accurately by his puny baby name. I think that you could do better. Well, of course I could do better. That's the whole problem. He's over here trying to add numbers, just adding. He's going to take the whole day just to add numbers. I told him that's ridiculous. What he needs to do is multiply.
Mr. T'Challa, he keeps doing this. It's disturbing.
I understand, SpongeBob, but I think he has a mathematical point. If you have to add numbers over and over, there is a much better way to do it, and it's called multiplying.
But I've never multiplied before, Mr. T'Challa. What should I do?
Well, SpongeBob, let's take it a few steps at a time, and I think you'll be able to catch on very quickly. Mr. Strongman, could you go get us some cans of black paint? No problem. I'll get you all the paint you need. It'll be easy. So, SpongeBob, when you multiply, you're adding the same sized groups over and over and over.
Yeah?
And that means there will be a pattern to everything you add.
Okay, I like patterns.
Exactly, SpongeBob. And so, we'll be able to look at the patterns, and then when you have a repeated addition problem, you'll be able to do it very quickly by knowing your multiplication facts.
Oh, so you're going to teach us all sorts of tips and tricks, and then we can practice our facts, just like addition and subtraction?
Actually, SpongeBob, the best way to learn multiplication is to start with the facts. If we can memorize the facts, then we can use the tips and tricks only if we get stuck. But the best way is to learn them and not get stuck. So we're going to practice our facts first.
Oh boy, that sounds scary.
Well, it might be because we're going to have to use Strongman and his multiplication ability. But I think you'll get the hang. Okay, puny baby and puny kitty. I have all these cans now. What do you want them? You didn't say how many cans I needed, so I just brought a bunch. That is plenty, Mr. Strongman. Thank you. In fact, you're going to start with just one. Just one can? If I was going to carry just one can, I could have carried it on my eyebrow. Fine, here's your one can. I hope you're happy. Actually, SpongeBob needs to learn about multiplication.
Yeah, it sounds very confusing still.
So, I need you to hold your one can, and then use your powers to multiply. And we'll see how many cans there are in total. So, SpongeBob, we're going to count the cans at the very end. If we start with 1, and we do it 1 time, that's too easy. I already am one of me. I didn't even have to do my trick. That's right. So, you can see, SpongeBob, that 1 can, 1 time, is just 1.
Whoa. Wait, is there a way to write that with numbers, Mr. T'Challa?
Of course, SpongeBob. And if I had my Kimoyo beads, I could do it much more easily, but... Oh, don't worry about that. I can use my strongman powers to help you. See, I am so strong. I didn't even have to touch them. I just used the muscles in my brain. That's not biologically accurate, but thank you, Mr. Strongman. You could just call me Mr. Man if you want, because apparently you're not going to call me by my real name, which is the most strongest, handsomest, most wonderful man in the whole universe. That's actually not what you said your name was earlier. I don't care, it's still true. Okay, SpongeBob. So, you can see 1 can times 1. That means 1 can, 1 time. And we can see that at the end, 1 can, 1 time will be, it will be 1. And I'm so strong I can hold the answer all by myself. Yes, thank you. So, I'm going to have you keep holding a can. Great, just 1 can. But this time, SpongeBob, move out of the way. We're going to see what happens when we take our 1 can times... Oh, this is so easy. Look, see, I'm holding a can.
Yes, I can see that, Mr. Strongman.
And then I have one can, and then watch. Now there are two of me. You see that little sponge?
Oh, I do. That's an amazing trick. And now one can, but there's two people holding the one can, so I have one can 2 times.
That's right, SpongeBob. And so how many cans will there be total if there's only one can each times 2?
Oh, I know. There'll be 2.
Holy time machine! I did not think this sponge was strong enough to lift the number answer all by himself.
Oh, thank you. That's a nice compliment.
Yes, I think you'll be surprised just how many people are as strong as you, Strongman, if you give them a chance. What is this, some sort of moral lesson? Perhaps. I don't have time for moral lessons. Let's do more math. We can do that. All right, show me one can again. But this time, we're going to multiply by 3. Are you ready, Strongman? Of course, I'm always ready. I was born ready. You see, I have one can.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be so exciting.
Well, now I have one can times 3.
Wow, I love it. Oh, and now there's a total of 3 cans. So 1 times 3 is 3.
Excellent, SpongeBob. Let's keep going. Let me guess, you want us to do 1 times 4 now and just keep going in order? Ha, exactly, Mr. Strongman. In fact, the best way to learn multiplication is to try them in order first, and then begin mixing up the order to make sure you still remember the facts. All right, fine. That means 1 times 4 is next. You better move, Tiny Kitty. This is going to get very exciting very quickly. 1 can.
Uh-huh.
Times 4.
Oh boy. And now I can see there's a total of 4 cans. Whoopee!
And I already set up the next problem for you. It's 1 times 5.
Oh boy. And 1 times 5 is 5 total paint cans. Mr. T'Challa,
Yes, SpongeBob.
I don't think I need Mr. Strongman's help anymore.
What did you say?
Oh, I mean, you're very helpful, Mr. Strongman, but you're so helpful, I think I figured out the pattern already.
You can't just get rid of me. Well, technically, Mr. Strongman, you yourself get rid of you multiple times every problem. Oh, I guess that's true. Okay, time for a break, boys. Here you go, SpongeBob Puny Pants. Just let me know when you need me again. I'll be over off to the side, pumping some iron. Thank you, Strongman. I'm sure SpongeBob will need you soon. But you think you figured out the pattern, SpongeBob?
Yeah, because if they're holding 1 can each, then whatever number of strongmans there are, that's going to be the answer. Because if there's 1 strongman, he has 1 can. If there's 2 strongmans, they each have 1 can, so that'd be 1 and 2, and that's 2, and so the answer will always match the second number here.
Very good. Now, if we want to talk about this mathematically, we would say that any number times 1 is itself. So what would 1 times 5 be, SpongeBob?
Oh, well, that means I have 1 times 5, I just keep the second number, and that's 5.
That's okay, SpongeBob, but don't think about it in terms of the second number.
Why not?
Because multiplication is commutative.
Can't you call that vet and have it cured?
No. Commutative isn't a disease, SpongeBob. It's a property of multiplication. You see, if I have 1 times 5, or 5 times 1, the answer's going to be the same.
Mr. T'Challa, that's impossible. The rule was that when I multiply, it's going to match the second number.
That's the way you described it, SpongeBob. But how did I describe it?
You said that any number times 1... equals itself. But that doesn't make sense.
I think it might. Mr. Strongman. What? Has the math already melted your puny little minds? I haven't even finished 2,000 reps yet. Well, perhaps you could pause during your sets and hold 5 cans for me. You want me to hold 5 cans? Look at my arms. I'm holding 200 pounds each. 5 cans is like practically nothing. You see, I have 5 cans in one arm. It's not even a problem. I didn't break a sweat. My mustache isn't even a tad askew. Very good. Now, SpongeBob.
Yes, Mr. T'Challa?
Take a look at how many cans the strongman is holding.
Okay, he's holding 5 cans.
And how many strongmen do we have?
Just 1.
So you see, SpongeBob, whether it's 1 times 5... Oh, my arm feels so light now it's practically floating. Or 5 times 1... That's much better. The answer would be 5, because any number times 1 is going to be itself.
Oh, I see. Okay, so 6 times 1 is just gonna be 6.
Yes, SpongeBob. And wait, don't even say it. I'm going to go keep lifting for the rest of these. And SpongeBob, let me do one more thing before you continue.
Wow. 6 times 1 is 6, and 1 times 6 is also 6.
Very good, SpongeBob. What about 1 times 7?
Well, that would be 7.
Very good, SpongeBob. And if 1 times 7 is 7, what else do we know?
Ooh. We also know that 7 times 1 is 7.
Excellent. What fact do you think we should do next, SpongeBob?
I know. 8 times 1 equals 8.
Good, SpongeBob. And?
And then 1 times 8 also equals 8.
Wonderful. There's one more.
Okay. 1 times 9 equals 9. And so 9 times 1 also equals 9.
Excellent, SpongeBob.
And then 10 times 1...
Actually, SpongeBob, we're only going to do single-digit numbers.
But can't I keep going forever?
Of course you can, SpongeBob. But this video can't keep going forever.
Oh, you're so right. Okay, so I know that anything times 1 is itself, and 1 times anything is also itself.
Good. Now, should we close the video with something clever and somewhat hilarious?
I guess that'd be fun.
Okay, trust me, SpongeBob. If I put you
Wow!
right here...
Mr. T'Challa, this is just silly.
What would SpongeBob times 1 equal?
I'm not a number. You can't multiply me.
Actually, SpongeBob, using what we know about times 1, I can. Anything times 1 is...
Wow!
itself.
Nah, you're so silly, Mr. T'Challa. And that means that 1 times SpongeBob would also equal SpongeBob. Yay!